everyone, welcome to my blog. My name is Kathy and I'm a consultant with Close to My Heart, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make what is called a grand Victorian box. Now this is not my design. I got this off of Split Coast Stampers, which has some really good tutorials, but what I did was I adapted the one that was on there to work with the Close to My Heart Cricut cartridge called Art Philosophy. On page 65, what I did was I cut out this rectangle, which is called rectangle number 8. And what you do first is you put your piece of paper on your cutting mat, and then you put fit to page, which means it'll cut the largest size that is available for a 12 by 12 page. So in this case, it cut it at 7 inches. And then what you do is once you've cut it, you actually, because it has the peaks on either side, you just put it in your paper trimmer and you cut it in half exactly. So this is cut at 7 inches, rectangle number 8. What I did was I cut down my pattern paper 3/4 less than 7. So I cut it at 6 1/4. And this is what's going to be able to go on the inside of the box and the top of the box to decorate it. Then what you're going to need is two 1 3/4 by 12 pieces of coordinating cardstock. So you need 2 of those, and you're going to need one 1 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece of cardstock. And the next step that you do is you take each of these pieces of paper and you score it at the 1/2 inch mark. Then the next step is on both of those pieces of cardstock, you're going to be trimming almost like little cuts right up to the 1/2 inch score line. And so, you know, I don't know exactly how, like I would say this is in between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to be super precise with this, but make sure that the cuts just go right up to the score line. So once you cut out all your fringes on your 2 pieces of 1 3/4 by 12 pieces of cardstock, you're going to take your base. So this is one of the halves of the 7 inch rectangle, and then you're going to need the double-sided sticky tape. Now one thing you want to do is when you put the tape on, you're going to need it to have it right flush to the edge on this side, but then on the rest of the pattern you want to have it in like at least 1/4 of an inch, if not a little bit more, because if you don't, when you go to put the lid on it, it's not going to line up properly. And when I did this, I also put little strips on because I really wanted it to try and maintain the pattern of the edge. So, you know, sometimes it's easier when you're going around a bend to kind of use the smaller strips, because then you're going to be able to be more true to the actual shape of your cardstock. So once I've done that, I'm actually just going to set that aside for a second, and I'm going to take one of my pieces of 12 inch by 1 3/4 inch cardstock. And what you need to do at this point is, this is for the edge that goes along the back of the box. I'm going to need to score it at 5 3/4. So that's here. So when you've done that, what I do is I just kind of score it, and you want to push these kind of fringes up. So I find this a little bit easier to turn it around actually. And you're going to want to line up. So the edge that you just scored at 5 3/4, you're going to want to line that up at the back, and you kind of want to center it so that it's a lot like in the middle of your back seam here, and you want it to go right to the edge. And then what you're going to do is with your hands, you're going to, and again I find it's easier, the side that you're working on should be facing you, so you're going to be just kind of manipulating the paper so that it takes the shape of the box. And then I just do sort of little bits at a time so that I can really start to bend it around the shape of the box. So that's that edge that I just did. Now with your second one, with this one, again, I'm going to score like a little mark on this side, because this is going to start here and then we're going to work our way back to this edge. So what I did is I scored about, I would say score about maybe 3/4 of an inch on the right side. And again, you're going to be folding that edge back, and then you're going to be putting this down on the tape. But what you're going to need to do is, because we want to adhere this towards the back of the box, so you're going to need your double-sided tape again, and so that you can get a good adhesive down there. And then what I did is I also put, while I was doing this, I put it on this side, because we're also going to be able to need to adhere this side to the seam when it meets up on the other side of the box, at the front of the box. So you put that there. Now to reinforce it, I also put just one strip on this edge here, and then I put one on the edge on the inside of the box here, that we're going to be lining up those two seams. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the other thing you're going to need to do is just, you're going to need, where you put your cardstock down here, you're going to need like just about 3/4 of an inch of the adhesive down on the bottom, because then it's going to be able to adhere to, the fringes are going to be able to adhere together where the two papers meet. So we're going to take off those. Okay, so this is that first edge that we scored at 3/4 of an inch, and that I'm going to be lining up with this edge. So I just lined up there, and then I adhere the fringe part down. And again, I take the side that's facing me, and this is the side that I start to manipulate the paper. Now, you can actually do this with, we have quite a few different patterns of like kind of rectangle type patterns that you can do this with, but I just found this one the easiest to teach because it has kind of a nice edge on it. And what you're going to need now is the top, the other half of your paper. So this is my top, and then you take your that little strip that we did, which was 5 3/4 by 1 3/4, and we're going to be adhering it down here. So again, I just turn this around so the edge is kind of closest to me. I kind of fold this half, fold where your score line is, so that I can create like a flatter edge. And then again, you're just going to try and get it as close to the center as possible. And so then you're going to put adhesive on the back, and you're going to pull those off, and then take your bottom, and this is going to go to the back of the box, and you want to make sure that you get it right down in there, right so the seams meet right there. So then you go like that, and then you've created the top of the box. What you do is you take your two pieces that the 6 1/4 rectangle that I cut out, you decide which one you want on the top. So I think I'll put this one on the top, and you just adhere that down there. But when you go to put the one on inside, I chose to take the opposite side of the pattern. It's going to fit quite nicely from that edge, but these wings are not going to fit in there. So all I did was just kind of eyeball it. You just trim off, that little triangle there, kind of like the triangle. That's what I did. And then I just, measured it to make sure it's going to set in there nicely. And then when I was happy with how it was going to glue down, then I would just put adhesive on the back and glue it down into the bottom. I will quickly show you two of the boxes that I made. So this one is decorated with the Lucy paper pack, and this pink ribbon is from the Pink collection with Close to My Heart. The roses I made with the Art Philosophy Cricut cartridge as well. And then what I've done is I've made these little note cards inside that people can sign for some of the staff members that are leaving our unit, so each person can write their message inside for them, and I plan on giving it to them like that. And another box I made is the Florentine. So again, it's the same layout, but only I put the paper down on this, a band of paper down on the side just to cover up the seams, and again there's the little note cards inside. Another idea I had was you could make your own 4x4 cards and put them inside, and maybe give this to your hostess as a thank you for hosting a party. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you'll be trying one of these grand Victorian boxes on your own. Until next time, bye bye.